Morning, morning, monsters. How are you all doing? As you can tell, I've still got a bit of a frog in my throat. And without further ado, we should get on with our ball and paddle project. Well, not ball and paddle project. I don't know why I said ball and paddle. Ball and peg project. There we go. Ball and peg project. So, where we were yesterday is we have the starts of the basic thing. There's no limiter, there's no power on the ball shooty bit, but we can shoot balls, and that kind of works out. So that's great. So the next thing that we want to do is introduce some pegs. Now the thing to do here is, again, to get grid snap on, to get a basic shape going. Let's make I think we're going to need to just drop the grid down a notch, actually, just get a bit more fidelity. And let's make a relatively smallish peg. Yeah, that looks about right to me. Yeah. And we want it to jut out nice and far, so there's no ambiguity. What we are going to have to do is we are going to have to end up restricting the ball on its axes. It's not a problem, it's just a thing we have to end up doing. Now, just so this is not completely dull, because you know it's very easy with this kind of oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Precision work to get really, really dull. So what I'm just gonna do is, I'm so used to grabbing the moves for this kind of stuff. Blend, hard blend. Thank you. Don't want to grab the move straight away for this. Just gonna add a little bit of interest, so it's just not a dull ass peg. Just add some light beveling. And then on a negative axis, actually I think this might be good for the grid mode, because then I do that, and then don't forget you can just do a little twisty move on the touchpad. I always find that handy. And if you're ever worried about getting one of these edits right, just come in here, drop it down. Oh, don't worry, I haven't forgotten about it. Drop it down. Drop it down. So one of the things that you will find if you were actually coding this rather than making this in Dreams, let's turn off grid mode. Now remember, you can just grab that, and now you can after the fact adjust it. And it's one of the easiest ways just to get it just how you like it. So anyway, one of the things I was going to say is, one of the things you were doing, if you can't code this in Dreams, if you weren't doing this in Dreams, one of the things you would be doing is you would be fudging your collision model a bit. And we'll get to that later in our discussion, and I'll show you an example on the Dreamiverse of exactly what I mean, because there is someone who got it perfectly right in their game, and it's a really great example of why you should do things in a certain way. Okay, so for now I'm going to keep it simple, but at the moment I just want to add a little bit of cowstone. Now, important thing, for the collision, we do not want this to collide with the imp. We want the imp to smoothly be able to move around the board, but we do want it to still collide. Also, we want the physics cost to be low. What that means, when we're talking about physics, and it's good to do this, show hide heat maps, physics. Okay, this is going to be a little bit hard to show. Let me unlock the camera. Okay, cool. If I make this movable, maybe you can see it. Ah, there we go. Right. So the way the physics system works is we break things down into balls, right? So I don't know if you can see there, all the encoding is going to wreck it there. But now, if I go high, you see how it recalculates for those balls? And you can see how the balls are placed, right? And you go medium, and then you go low. And then you can see the number of balls estimating the shape. And that's a really important, it's a really important distinction. So I can do the same on here. To see the balls, you really want to be, okay, exit, modes, test mode, heat maps, physics. Oop. Okay, you have to make it movable. Don't forget to make it unmovable afterwards, because things that aren't movable work slightly different than the physics engine. It's a bit complicated to explain at the moment, but for the purposes of here, you see how when it's high, especially because that's hollow, you see all the balls. You see all the balls that go into calculating that, and you see how sort of complex that is. You go medium, you can sort of see how that'll line up, and then you go low, and you can see how that'll line up there. But let's turn off collision on that, because it doesn't need to be collidable. And go out there. So that is the reason why we want physics quality low on here. It doesn't mean that the physics interactions with this object are low quality. What it means is the estimation of the shape is low quality in the sense that it can have a slightly bigger difference between the reality and what the shape is. Okay, show the logic for these balls. There's a few different ways we can do it. We're going to do it the simpler way for now because it'll just make our lives easier. And that is for us to grab a microchip, make it not much bigger than the thing because we're going to have a lot of these. Let's give it a thing. Let's give it a color, bluish color, and we're just going to say let's going to call it a brick. Now there are so many different ways you can do this. We are going to be using an impact sensor, so this is going to be the sensing impacts on that shape. Why is it not sense impacts on that? Oh, the implicit wire might be helping us out there. Okay, that's good to know. So the implicit wire, whenever you stamp something, whenever you stamp a gadget onto a thing, like when you stamp things onto a microchip and whatnot, what ends up happening is there is what we call an implicit, oh, hold on, let me just turn that there. This is one of my favorite just quick debug techniques, is throw a few of these down and that in there. Now these are all fat wires, FYI, and don't forget we can, with fat wires, we can always use a splitter to check what's inside the fat wire. So this one, you look at the impact, the surface type, which matters a lot actually, because that's how you get different sounds, but it can also be how you encode logic. So it's like when balls hit wood, when balls hit metal, things like that. So we could actually change the restitution number. That just means how much energy is sort of carried through. And then bumps. Oh, stupid me. Here we go. So that is the touching, bumps, rolls. So this is when something's rolling on it. It's same sort of split. Okay, before I get any more mistakes in that, we're going to freeze the board, and then that's the same. So what we actually probably care about, we might want to treat all those differently. But those are the impact sensors. Let's get out the freeze tool. Let's freeze the board, because there's no chance that we will actually want to change up the board at the moment. Fun. Okay. So modes, test mode. Let's go into unlock the camera. Well, actually, no, don't unlock the camera. Just pin to screen, so we can see this regardless of where we are. Oh, stupid me. We forgot that we had that on as a movable thing because we wanted to show you the balls. Pin to screen, anchor. Okay, play. I know what this is. This is the camera FOV messes with the pinning to screen logic, because they're the camera field of view. Yeah, you see? Right. So there we go. You see it getting hit, and then you're seeing the different interactions on there, right? Okay, everyone is chuffed with that. Let's rewind so we don't get into any trouble. So what we really care at the moment is more bumps and touching. To avoid any confusion, really annoyed that when I okay, good, I can just unfreeze that. That's good. Shooty McShooty. There we go. Let's kill that. Where's the ball? Where has? There we go. So before we get any further, we do need to start looking at tags. We are going to call this a missile. It's just a handy tag. All these tags are basically whatever you want to call them. Oh, that's nice. Coffee in the morning. We're going to give that a missile tag just for later, and we are going to say that it collides with everything at the moment because we don't want to muck about with that. But then we are going to change its surface type. I think I'm going to change it to metal. No. Change it to grass, because I don't think I'll use grass for anything. Yeah, that should be acceptable. Right. Because remember, over here, the thing we care about, and I'll show you in a second. I hate pin to screen. I tend not to use it much, but it's handy for testing. What the actual fuck's happening there? There's some weird ass glitching. Okay. So, when he gets bumped by this, the things we get out, we get the position, we get the surface type, and we get the impact. The impact actually has a bit more information in it. Oh, I thought it did. Double check the physics thing. Apparently it does not. Oh yes, this is because variants can't encode sequence numbers. Well, they can encode sequence numbers, but it's too risky to encode sequence numbers. Right. Gotcha. Morning, everyone. Right, so the reason why I'm coding it grass, by the way, is just because what you can do is, let's just pop that out here. Did we rejig the emitter? We did, didn't we? Okay, we did. So I'm gonna just delete that there so I can get at that there and clone it. Because I just need a test object basically. And I don't want to have to do the whole unlocked camera thing. Test mode. I mean, I do want to do the unlocked camera thing. I just don't want to have to deal with the crazy FOV camera and what that does to everything. Right, so let's unlock camera. Oh wait, that's right. That has to be made movable. Right, so it's type 6 that we want to sense. Exit out of here. And off. My brain this morning, I'm actually going to be working from home today because I'm not 100%, and obviously everyone, it's just a cold, it's nothing serious, but obviously everyone's a little bit twitchy about coronavirus at the moment, so it's like, if you feel at all ill, please stay at home. I don't feel that bad. I do feel a little bit twitchy in the brain though. Right, so if we've been bumped by that, then we perform all our logic, right? Just sort of laying all of that out for you. I know that was sort of around the houses and we could have gone through that a lot faster, but it's fine. So here, what we're going to do is we are going to glow up that, and we are going to, where is the tint amount 0 and saturation 1. You may be asking, Claire, why are you doing that? Well, because I have an idea that's going to make our version of this a little bit more interesting, which is I'm going to, you know how you have those nonogram games where you original color saturation 0 and white shrink. You know how you have those nonogram games where you solve the puzzle to reveal the picture? I'm going to show you a version of this, but I'm starting off with a very simple peg that, bam, that comes through and does all the bits. All right. The important thing here, though, is that when that comes through, gadgets. Excuse me very much. We want a counter. We want to increase this counter by 1. When it's increased by 1, it'll be full. when the counter is full, it powers that up. Okay. But then we also want this other thing, that when you reach the bottom of the thing, we say that the ball has finished, right? So then for that, what we want to do is we want, and again, there are more efficient ways, and we will show some more efficient ways of doing this, but at the moment I'm showing the simpler way. I'm going to do a wireless receiver, and we're going to say ball respawn. So this is basically when the ball hits the bottom, anything that is lit up then needs to be destroyed. So then we get a mover, because we don't want to destroy it until the ball hits the bottom, but we are also going to put in a logic that says if it hasn't been destroyed after X period of time, then, and that needs to be scene wide. Okay, then it'll go through. Okay, so then we need a trigger zone down here. Trigger zone. Square. Let's bring that back grid mode for a sec. Realign that. How are we doing for time? No, we're fine. We're fine. Okay, so that is our ball death zone, and we should name it appropriately, but for now we're just gonna put it in its place. Ball death zone. Right. Come in there. And it is only caring about sensing missiles. And whenever it senses a missile, oh. Okay, I'm going to wire it into that signal there for now, but don't worry, we will we'll rewire it in just a tick. We're going to get a counter here. We are going to reset. Oh dear. We're going to reset that counter. We're going to have a not gate. It says if the counter is not full, you're allowed to take a shot. And then we're going to say whenever you take a shot, you increment the counter. Very, very simple logic, but it'll just keep things moving. Now, you shouldn't get too obsessive about your wiring, but I like to get a little bit preemptive on my cleanup of wiring because I get very, very, very frustrated with wiring. There we go. We will, for those of you watching on YouTube, this is a live show, so we will be engaging with chat in a bit. I'm just powering through the bits that I want to show off this morning and for the video, and then we'll have a little bit of a chat with Twitch and we'll answer any questions you guys have. Right, so that should all do. Reset there, reset there. When this actually comes through, this needs to come through a transmitter. Oh. And reset count, and that transmitter is going to be called ball respawn. Signal from receiver. Right, okay, cool. Just check that that is set to ball respawn. Fantastic. So that's when that's going to kill that. That's going to go through there. All jazzed. Okay, so you will... Okay, let's just move this a little bit here. Strange. Why? That is definitely set to missile, right? Collides with... It is a missile. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to signal generator, signal manipulator. We're going to shove a signal manipulator here. I like to use signal manipulators for tracking signals, especially pulses. And so this should tell us, apparently it's not getting detected. That's interesting. Detection scope is, oh wait, things to detect. You silly person. I want you to detect a label. No, do I want you to detect a label? Let's make thank you so much for pointing people towards feedback.indreams.me. That is always the place to go to report things. Let us make it actually detect a tag. That's gonna make my life easier. Yeah, let's make it detect a tag everywhere. Yeah. So now, I'm just going to turn off grid mode for a second. There we go. So whenever I do that and I stamp it down, that's when the implicit wire happens. I'm just going to call this ball. Fantastic. Okay, it is definitely fine. What is interesting? What if I would want to change it to label? Remove this element, controller sensors, possessible controller sensor, scene element to detect. Really interesting. Label. Oh, that does a name hash match. That does a name hash match. That is an interesting way of tackling that. I think I prefer that because it doesn't use a tag. Okay, so that'll go through there, that'll do that, and then when it hits the bottom, that does that, and then let's just check, because notice we've got two signals going into that thing, so let's grab one of those wires. Let's check both of those signals are firing. Okay, both of those signals are firing. That is fantastic. So delete that, delete that, delete that. This here, max emitted at once. Let's turn that to 1, say. Make sure it's recycling emitted objects. Okay, time between emits, everything there looks good. Oh wait, delete that. Need to rename this to ball. because, well, actually I was going to set up some complicated logic for this, but I think the easier way to do it, no, this is going to be the easier way. This is going to be the easier way. Just reuse the emitter's recycling logic. So change this. Don't forget to change this back, but for now we're just gonna shove that into well, no, I don't want to do that. What I want to do is I want to go into test mode. Oh, stupid. I want to get out of test mode. Get out of that scope. Rewind. Okay, cool. Now I want to go into test mode. Okay, so why are you not? Oh, I am a numpty. This count as not full. Okay, this camera, I'm going to turn it off for now. And I'm going to call it, actually no, you know what I'm going to do? Because it's just going to make testing a nightmare, but it's going to, trust me, that the far off camera with the adjusted FOV is totally what we will be wanting for the actual game. So I'm going to come in here, but I do want to, I don't want the fixed camera because I want the oh, what's the word I'm looking for? I want the imp reach and everything to be correctly set. Let's go 8 meters. Right. Bring it forward a bit. Let's just reset the field of view to what people kind of expect so that the pinning code doesn't get screwed. Approximately, there we go. Min imp distance 8 meters, 8.3. Fantastic. I didn't realize that adjusted with the I didn't realize that adjusted with the focal point. That is actually really nice that it does automatic. Camera bookmark for testing. I don't know how camera bookmarks interact with test mode. They're a relatively new feature. But this, because that's now powered off, this should work for us. The key thing is that we have the imp reach correctly set. Why? Oh. Okay, hold on. Let's go back into freeze mode. So we've unfrozen everything. This back plate here, we want to make sure that it is not collidable. It has a low physics cost. It has no imp interaction. Likewise, no interaction, no physics cost. No interaction, low physics cost. And the other thing we want to check on is check on the control sensor. What mode do we have it set to? Because I might have it set to the wrong mode. Follow imp. Possessible. Allow imp during possession. Turn that off. Force possession, yes. Oh no, possession. Allow imp during possession. I think that's the one I want. No. No, it is follow imp. Imp faces camera. Allow imp during possession. Right, we just need to tweak the imp distance, or sorry, the camera distance. That's the bit that we're screwing up. 724. Okay, and just because it's going to annoy me, let's zoom in the camera a bit. That'll screw up the pinning a little bit, but it's better than that than having the board totally balked. We will do that last polish step at the end. It's a thing. Right. So we're transmitting, but it's not getting through. That's fine. So save position on that. Let's close that down. Pin that to the screen. Thank you very much. Play. Oh, not play. There we go. We took that shortcut out. Right. See, this is why the FOV thing can get on your nerves. Right. Possess. Okay, cool. No, so it should be shooting at least once. Should definitely be shooting at least once. Going through. I think we are hitting a race condition frame buggy thing, in that the emitter, it's a bit slower. So what we could probably do is, you see this object just emitted wire? If we grab, God, I hate this pin to screen logic. This object just emitted. If we grab this here, yeah, if we grab this here, and put that into the object just emitted, then I think what will happen is that'll work. Yeah, okay, cool. So for those of you who are curious why that was happening, the gadget logic behind the scenes, because gadget logic will only ever tick once every 30 frames, and runs at 30 FPS. To minimize lag in your gadget logic, there is a whole bunch of stuff under the hood that tries to sort of collapse your gadgetry and tries to execute as much as it can in one frame. There are things, however, that they just need a frame tick, right? Because some things need a frame tick. And in this case, what's happening is the signal's going through here. This is being powered on, this sends its signal through to here. And it's like the emitter says, I need a frame to think. While that's happening, the signal was also getting emitted through to here. The counter's like, I don't need a frame to think because I can count everything sort of up at once, and goes through to here. And the NOT gate's like, I don't need a frame to think, which means this is turned off. By the time you get to the second frame, this wire is now being powered down because this gadget's been powered down, and this thing is like, you sure you want me to emit? Oh, you don't want me to emit because I'm dead already. So that's just a classic one frame bug in logic. They can be a bit tricky to detect because there's no sort of way to break point a frame. It's a bit of a limitation at the moment. But yeah, so that's a classic one frame bug. You will only get one frame delays on some of the heavier gadgets, things like laser pointers and emitters and things like that. But we're at 10 past, so let's show off the basic. Well, actually, hold on. It's not a very cool demo. Always make your demos a little bit cool, because it usually doesn't take much work to make them cool. In this case, we're gonna just spin up a bunch of blocks, and we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do that. Okay, cool. And so we're gonna save our progress so far. Save that. There we go. And then we're gonna just show you where we are, and then we'll go to questions. See, that is going to get stuck there because we haven't put a after so many seconds die thing in. We will have to do that for now though. Let us do this another way. Why are we on the grid? Because we're being boring is why. Because remember, in a peg game, you want variety. There we go. So you can get nice smooth curves and things like that. Right, and it means I can show this off without having to put in the death logic. Oh. So we are definitely going to have to put the ball fixed to axes stuff in. As you can see, when I said at the start that this is going to be a multi stream project, this is what I meant. It is going to be, oh dear, here we go. It's going to be a few streams just to iron out all the kinks and then do some level design and stuff like that. But anyway, you see the basic logic. We will work it all out. We'll put the restitution, we'll fix it to a frame. We'll solve the off-screen bug there where the imp glitches out, and it'll all be good. So for those of you on YouTube, love you lots. Come join us on Twitch. We do this in the mornings. But for now, I'm going to tell you to bugger off and we're going to talk to chat. But come join us so you can chat with us next time. Ta-ta.